What it do, cake crew? Today I'm going to show you guys how I achieved this viral cheetah print cake. It's really leopard print, but you know what? Let's just get started. As soon as the cake comes out of the oven, you need to saran wrap um, both layers and put them in the freezer immediately. So the reason we're gonna saran wrap them is because that'll lock in all of the moisture that you have in your cake so it doesn't dry out by the time you finish decorating. So you're going to leave your cakes in the freezer for about 2 to 3 hours so that it can cool down and kind of firm up. That way, when you take it out, it's easier to carve the exact shape that you want. So I'm cutting this heart shape out of the cake because I overfilled my pan intentionally. I wanted to give my customer a little bit more cake, and I had extra batter, so that's what I decided to do. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but my hands are clean. I have washed and dried my hands over and over and over a million times. Like once you get into the groove of making cakes, you know that you're gonna have a lot of dishes and no napkins. In the end, you will have no more paper towels. But this is me still carving out that heart shape. And of course, we are going to fill this red velvet cake with cream cheese filling. And please let me know if you are interested in my cream cheese filling recipe. Just leave me a comment or something below, and that may be my next video. It should be real short and sweet. It's nothing complex or anything like that. So right here on my first layer, I usually place the flat layer of the cake face down just so that I can get a solid foundation. And when you see me in a couple of seconds place the top layer of cake onto this on top of the filling, I'll place the flat part of the cake facing upwards. So that'll just give me a flat surface to work with after I crumb coat. And I could just cut my cakes to be even layers. I just decide not to, honestly, just being nice. I just want to give my customers as much cake as possible. So that's why I don't even out my layers. But I've seen many people do that. I don't see anything wrong with it, honestly. I just, I don't really eat a lot of cake, so I don't want to waste it. Just, they're ordering it, so they will eat it. So right here, notice how I put that flat part of the layer facing upwards. So I did the opposite of what I did with the bottom layer. And you can kind of see what I'm talking about now. It'll just give a better surface when you finish. So right here, you'll just see me doing the rest of my crumb coat. And I see a lot of people online asking what is a crumb coat or what does that mean. So basically, the crumb coat is just you're covering the entire cake with a very thin layer of icing, because like if you're watching closely, you'll see that there's crumbs kind of smeared in the icing as I do my crumb coat. So what the purpose of this is to just lock in those crumbs. So when I come back to place like another layer of icing, it won't be like a crummy consistency. Everything will be smooth when I come back and place more icing later on. But after the crumb coat, I put my cakes in either the fridge or the freezer, depending on how long. If I'm working on everything right now and I don't want to wait too much, I'll put it in the freezer for about maybe like 10 to 15 minutes to let everything stiffen up. Like once you place butter in the fridge, it'll get kind of hard. This is buttercream. Well, this is the cream cheese filling still, but it works the same. Once the icing gets harder, it's easier to work with. It's easier to make sure everything is smooth. So you definitely want to put your cake in the fridge or freezer almost after every single step, so that you don't, you can mess up what you just did if you just keep working and working and working without taking that break and putting the cake in the fridge. So off camera, I did add some red icing just to level the cake out more. And right here, I'm adding a little bit more red icing so that I can stick my edible image onto the side of the cake. So I'm just going to smooth it out evenly, or as evenly as possible. It doesn't have to be pretty. Like I said, this is where I'm going to place the edible image, so you won't even see the buttercream up under. So behind my edible image, I have a really thin layer of fondant just so that my image doesn't bubble while I have it in. Like, once everything's done, I'll put it in the fridge, and I don't want that image to bubble up. And I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side of the cake. And again, my hands are very clean. Once you start to make your own cake, or if you ever decide to decorate your own cakes, you will understand that almost through every step you will have icing or sugar or something on your hands that cannot go with the next step. So you have to wash your hands in between each of these steps. So yes, my hands are clean. So because the printer paper is only but so long, you will have to take multiple sheets to wrap the cake, and there will be gaps in between each strip, but that's okay. You're just going to take some buttercream later on and just fill those gaps, so it won't even be noticeable once you finish the cake. So the tip that I'm using right here is the famous 6B tip by Wilton. I want to say it's about like $4 to $5 at Walmart in your cake section. And the colors that are used, I will link them in the description. I know it's red and super red mixed together with an immersion blender, and I got the colors from Hobby Lobby, but I will still link them in the description. And this is the same tip, 6B by Wilton, and this color is black. Same brand. I also got this color from Hobby Lobby. Sometimes I will mix my black with the Walmart gel food coloring. So it might be that mixed with this. It might be the Walmart food coloring mixed with the Hobby Lobby food coloring. Either way, they will be linked in the description box below. And if you notice, right now I'm covering up those gaps in between the edible images. So once the cake is done, you won't even notice that these are multiple images put together. So next we are going to cover the top portion of the cake where that gap is. We're going to fill that in with the black buttercream, just enough to cover that gap, and then we're going to go back under it with a smaller tip and cover. Like, if you can see up under a little bit, there's a little line where the image ends. We're going to come back one more time and cover up that little gap as well. So one thing that I'm noticing watching this video playback is that my cake board is really messy. It's not too bad, but in the future, in my next videos, I will work on just cleaning that up as I go. So once I get towards the end, it's not much left to do. So right here, you can kind of see my piping bag is running low on this red icing. I am going to run out in about 2 seconds, so make sure you have enough buttercream. I think for the red I used, I used 3 sticks of butter. For my buttercream, I should have used 4. So just for y'all, so y'all don't have to, start over and make more buttercream, just use 4 sticks of butter. I think that's a pound, 1 pound of butter. But right here, that's why I ran out right at the end. So that is my biggest pet peeve. Icing a cake when you're almost done, everything else is ready, and you run out of icing. Look at me I'm trying to squeeze. Trying to squeeze out the little, regardless, even if I squeeze it out, it won't be enough. But I didn't want to accept it, so don't be like me. Just make enough. So the tip that I'm using right here is about half the size of the 6B tip. I don't know exactly what size or brand this tip is. I'm so sorry about that. I got this tip when I first started doing cakes. And it came in like a set of like 100 or something different tips, and none of them are numbered, and it doesn't come with a brand. I think I got it from Walmart. They also have the same type of kit on Shein, Temu, maybe Amazon. Like, you should be able to get this tip from anywhere, but I got mine from Walmart, so I will drop in the description box the kit that I started with, and it'll come with this tip. I'm other than that, I don't even know, like, if you just wanted to buy one tip for this, I don't know what size it is. I would say maybe a star-shaped tip. It looks very similar to the 6B from Milton, but it's a lot smaller. And I'm going to use that same tip to go under the black, so I can just cover that top part of the edible image. And we will come back and do the same thing on the bottom border on top of that red. And I still need to go back and make that red buttercream, but I just didn't want to stop my progress. So you'll see me come back at the end and just fix that little piece. Right here, I'm placing my cherries on top. I did get these cherries. They're fake cherries from Hobby Lobby, and I coated them with edible glue and red glitter. And I'll show you the process in about 2 seconds. This is the edible glue that I got from Hobby Lobby, the Sunny Side Up brand. It does say $4.99 for the price, but at the time that I got it, everything was 50% off. And I think today, right now is June 2026, everything is now 40% off. So it won't be $5 when you go and get it. And this right here is, I used the brush that I use only for cakes, and I brushed on that edible glue. And I got this little shot cup that I use just to dump the glitter over, so I don't get glitter all over the kitchen. Even though I still kind of did, it's less mess. And then you just kind of tap that glitter off. And that's it. Just pop it on the cake. Done. And this is a close-up of the glitter that I used. I wouldn't recommend it because I don't think it was red enough. But if you like it, I'll still link it, just because this might be a color that you are probably looking for. I'll still link it just in case. And this is the finished cake. If you made it this far, you are now a part of the cake crew. So like, comment, and subscribe.